Well, hello folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, let's pull up that screen. Ilus did bounce back Friday after having a couple of really rough days. And I also noticed WSFT's bouncing up and down, and I'm going to show you how those two stocks are being manipulated clearly, and I'll show you all about that. But first, let's get into what's going on. The market's really had a bad week. I mean, it was, man, I'm telling you, this has just been a rough time. And a big part of it, of course, is terrible inflation and these huge gas prices that are over $5 a gallon on average. I filled up my tank today, and normally, you know, it's 60, 70, 80 bucks, 100 bucks, $100 bill to fill my tank today. That's ridiculous, and it's unacceptable. So between the market and really high gas prices, there's nothing out there but this.
Pain.
Yep, lots of pain. And there's lots of it. I mean, it's go to the grocery store, pain. Gas station, pain. Pay your rent, extra pain. And now it's getting ready to get real painful for mortgages, especially if you're a variable interest rate. That's going to go because Powell just increased by what, 0.75? And of course, he was out there telling us the market is fine. Don't worry about it.
Please disperse. Nothing to see here, please.
Yep, yeah, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. It's what a mess. But let's get into Ilus. As you can see here, the stock jumped about almost 13%. It got as low as a little over 7 cents. Now it's almost to 8.5. So that's a nice bounce. None of this makes any sense. Nothing happened. It's just the market has been crushed, and penny stocks especially have been crushed. And crypto, my gosh, crypto, holy crap. Bitcoin under 20 got down in the 18s. I mean, it just like super crashed. And a lot of it is because, you know, they had that stable coin that collapsed, and a lot of these rug pulls have kind of been exposed. And even the best cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano's been hit. Cardano seems to be kind of hanging in there pretty good, better than most, but I mean, it's taken a huge hit too. So it's really been rough across the board for crypto. And penny stocks and crypto, they're not dissimilar. So I was glad to see this. Nice improvement, but none of this made a lot of sense because nothing changed. I looked everywhere, okay? I went to StockTwits. I went to Twitter. I went to the Discord for Ilus. I went everywhere I could go to see if anything had happened to cause this little mini crash. I couldn't find anything that happened with the company other than they announced they were looking at a $20 million company they think they're going to acquire. And I don't see how that's a negative at all. But I will show you one big negative. And it's right here, short volume. 50% of the volume per day is around shorting this stock. So if you want to know what's happening there and why the stock's having a real problem, understand that that's a large number of shares that are being borrowed, and then immediately that, and like I said, if you don't understand how a short works, it's kind of simple. Basically, somebody pays a small amount of money to borrow a stock from the original owner who's going to hold it long term. And they pay them a percentage for that stock for a temporary loan, I guess you'd call it. They loan out the stock for some money. That person takes that stock, runs off to the market, and sells it immediately. They get that cash, okay? But they still owe that stock back to the original owner. So what they want the stock to do is to drop. Then they can buy it back at the lower price, return it to the owner, and they get to keep that difference. Okay, so it's really important that the stock drop. Well, understand they're participating in that manipulation because they're immediately selling that stock, and that puts selling pressure on Ilus or any other stock they short. So they're actually, it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now understand, if that stock goes up, they can have a short squeeze because they start panicking because they're going, oh my gosh, it's going up and I shorted it for a lower price. So they start panic buying, and that's your basic short squeeze. But right now, because the market's so negative, a lot of these day traders are pushing stocks down and making the difference. So that's what's going on there. So when you see 50% volume, understand that's high. I mean, that's a lot of pressure being put on Ilus that doesn't have anything to do with the stock. Because if you think about it, Ilus's net income didn't change. Nothing changed. They're still a profitable company, and they're growing like a weed. The revenue hasn't changed. It's growing very fast. But they did have the one pullback here because 4 companies are not included in this because it's being spun off into ERT, which will be under the umbrella of Ilus. So it's not like that revenue's gone. It's just going to be treated differently, and they're going to be doing what's called consolidating accounting, is my understanding. Now, I am not a CPA, and I don't understand how that's going to play out. When I've owned companies, you know, it was all just one company. I didn't have any umbrella or conglomeration or a mergers and acquisitions company. So how they handled that accounting, I don't know, but obviously it's going to be under one umbrella. But nothing changed between Tuesday to Friday to cause this and then the bounce back. So like I said, the market was a little bit better off on Friday, and I think this is just market sentiment and shorting. I think shorting's playing a big part of this. And then when you look at Wikisoft, I have no doubt shorts are playing a huge role in this because this stock's rolling like a roller coaster. I mean, it's just like first it got announced that it was going to be part of Ilus and they were going to do a reverse merger with a $100 million company. That was reported that was the plan. And this thing's been bouncing up and down ever since. And day traders are all freaking over this thing. And I'll show you that. Look at the short volume on this thing. It's been all the way down to as low as 14% and as high as 53%. So the day traders are loving this stock. I mean, it's hard to find companies that can go from basically 10 cents up to 40. I mean, that's a day trader's dream right there, and especially one that's bouncing up and down like this like crazy. So they're going to be buying and shorting Wikisoft as much as they possibly can to try to make that day money, because understand, they don't give a damn about Wikisoft. It doesn't mean anything to them. They don't care about the $100 million merger or reverse merger. They don't care about that. They care about, can I manipulate this thing up and down, and can I ride it? Because look, if you're a day trader, you're not caring about fundamentals. You're not caring about any of that. You want to see some news and then buy accordingly or short accordingly. And that's just how it is. And that's, you know, look, it's perfectly legal. You know, they're allowed to do it. But don't think they're sitting there going into the fundamentals of this company and researching all that. They're not. They're just looking for news articles that might make it pop. That's it. And I even went as far as, you know, I went and checked George Sharp's Twitter because, you know, he's been attacking Ilus. He hadn't attacked it in several days. And so it didn't have anything to do with that, because I know there was a week or two ago that was an issue. But like I said, he's been kind of quiet on the Western Front on that.
Go on, get out of here. Go on out the garage, leave me be.
All right, folks, and that's Ilus and also WSFT. And like I said, they're working on their name change, so that'll probably be changing at some point. But that's really what's going on there. Like I said, I'm not terribly concerned about Ilus as far as the fundamentals of the company. I think we're just being manipulated a little bit, and I think it's market sentiment. And like I said, I'll be watching it closely, and hopefully we'll see a nice rebound because, like I said, normally when something drops that much, there should be a reason. And like I said, I just don't see it. So if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover Ilus, and I'll cover WSFT too along with it, depending on what's going on with it, and ERT. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'd certainly appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on Mr. Frugal Investor.